Football is fun, but it's a tough, and pretty dangerous sport. One wrong move by you or your opponent, and you can be out of the sport for months, years, or sometimes even for your whole career. So why risk it all? Because the elation of scoring a goal and taking your team to victory is simply unmatched. It's just that sometimes there is a prize to pay. Today on Plug-In, let's look at the top 10 football injuries that made close their eyes. 1. David Busst. This is considered one of the worst injuries ever in the Premier League. In 1996, David Busst, a defender for Coventry City, suffered a horrific injury during a match against Manchester United. He collided with two United players and suffered a compound fracture to his tibia and fibula, with the bone protruding from his skin. He required 26 operations and was forced to retire from football. 2. Eduardo. In 2008, Arsenal's striker Eduardo suffered a gruesome injury during a match against Birmingham City. He was tackled by Martin Taylor, which caused a compound fracture to his left fibula and an open dislocation of his left ankle. He underwent surgery and a long rehabilitation process before returning to the field. That Arsenal was at the top of the Premier League ladder and were seemingly on their way to win. But after Eduardo's injury, the team went into a slump with 4 consecutive draws, eventually losing both the lead and Premier League title to arch-rivals Chelsea. 3. Henrik Larsson. In 1999, Celtic's star striker Henrik Larsson suffered a double leg break after a tackle from Lyon's Serge Blanc. He was sidelined for almost a year but made a full recovery and went on to have a successful career. In 2001, he was back at the top of the game and scored 53 goals to win the European Golden Boot. 4. Alan Smith. In 2006, Manchester United's Alan Smith suffered a horrific injury during a match against Liverpool. To defend a goal from a free kick, Alan Smith extended his leg but landed awkwardly and dislocated his ankle, breaking his fibula and tibia. He underwent surgery and returned to the field, but never fully regained his previous form. 5. Aaron Ramsey. In 2010, Arsenal's Aaron Ramsey suffered a double leg break after a tackle from Stoke City's Ryan Shawcross. The nature of the injury and type of tackle had an uncanny resemblance to the 2008 Eduardo injury, but it seemed like Arsenal had learned their lesson this time, as instead of sulking, they went on to score 2 more goals and win the game convincingly. But for Ramsey, it was a tough time. He had to undergo surgery and a long rehabilitation process before returning to the field. 6. Djibril Cisse. In 2004, Liverpool's Djibril Cisse suffered a double leg break after landing awkwardly during a match against Blackburn Rovers. Cisse was out of the game for months, as he had to undergo surgery and a long rehabilitation process. He had a successful recovery and a long career, but the injury still loomed over his head. 7. Petr Cech. Talking about heads, no goalkeeper has been as iconic and recognizable as Petr Cech, mostly because of his iconic headgear. But do you know the story behind it? In 2006, Chelsea's goalkeeper Petr Cech suffered a skull fracture after a collision with Reading's Stephen Hunt. The injury was brutal, and it being a head injury made everyone feel uneasy. But Petr Cech successfully went through the lengthy recovery process before returning to the field with a protective headgear. 8. Luke Shaw. In 2015, Manchester United's Luke Shaw suffered a double leg fracture after a tackle from PSV Eindhoven's Hector Moreno. The injury put him out for months, and he had to undergo a long recovery process. 9. Stuart Holden. In 2011, Bolton Wanderers midfielder Stuart Holden suffered a fractured fibula and tibia after a tackle from Manchester United's Johnny Evans. He underwent a successful recovery, but unfortunately suffered another serious knee injury in the following season. 10. Steve Zakuani. In 2011, Seattle Sounders midfielder Steve Zakuani suffered a broken leg after a tackle from Colorado Rapids' Brian Mullen. The injury was not a pretty sight, and many speculated it to be career-threatening. However, Steven Zakuani underwent a successful surgery. Unfortunately, he was not able to return to the level of the game he once was before the injury. If you liked the video, hit the like button and subscribe to our channel. We give out interesting recommendations on various topics every other day.